so much drama in the MSP, and we said that there's going to be leaks and there's going to be reports coming out about the end of the Zimmer-Spielman regime here with the Minnesota Vikings, because it just seems like there is so much drama going on behind the scenes, the whole toxic work environment, a fear-driven enterprise or whatever. So, and there's going to be a lot of people who are out of work, who are free to speak, that have axes to grind, man. And we got our first little taste, little morsel. Chad Graff at The Athletic put out a post today. Mainly it was talking about the relationship of Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins, going way back to Washington, going way back like chiropractic, and how that relationship could grow here with the Vikings if they do indeed keep Kirk this year. But, I mean, buried the lead a little bit. The biggest part was the whole drama behind the scenes with Zimmer and Kirk Cousins. And our guy Will Raggets over at Sports Illustrated cribbed together a bunch of these quotes, and thank you for that. So we're going to go through them. Mike Zimmer, this is from the Chad Graff piece. Mike Zimmer spent part of the last few weeks as Vikings head coach bemoaning the team's situation at quarterback. So Zimmer's like, oh, woe is me. I'm going to get fired. We ain't make the playoffs. It's all Kirk Cousins' fault. And this is just classic scapegoating, man, but whatever. The veteran defensive guru made more of an effort to get the best out of Kirk Cousins in 2021, conducting weekly meetings with the quarterback for the first time in their 4 years together. First time in 4 years. And when they were talking about that on the radio and the telecast, it was just like, what you want, a cookie? I mean, PA was like, yeah, you know, this is the first time that Cousins and Zimmer are getting together for meetings and blah, blah, blah. No. Congratulations for doing what you're supposed to do. Even a defensive-minded head coach needs to have a relationship with his quarterback. Look at Belichick, defensive guy. Tom Brady. They had a professional working relationship for decades, right? You know, they weren't BFFs. You don't have to be. But getting along together professionally so you can win football games, that's what matters. But for 3 years, Zimmer's like, nah. And we know that Zimmer is capable of it. I mean, him and Teddy were like this. I do think that Zim was heartbroken after Teddy's leg was socially distanced from his body. But for some reason, he just built up a wall between him and Kirk Cousins, which, sure, was it petty? Yes. Did it cost the team games? Potentially. We continue. But towards the end, it became clear to those within the building that the head coach quarterback relationship hadn't blossomed the way many had hoped it would before the season, according to sources. Zimmer complained openly in coaching meetings about Cousins, and some of Zimmer's top lieutenants echoed the sentiment. Zimmer didn't feel the quarterback made enough winning plays, that he didn't take the necessary shots to help lead the Vikings to victory, and that he didn't elevate his teammates. But that view wasn't shared by everyone. Some, especially in the front office, thought Zimmer didn't handle the situation well. They acknowledged to Zimmer that Cousins isn't a perfect quarterback, but felt Zimmer's job as the head coach was to get the most out of the quarterback. And undercutting his play in coaching meetings didn't help. Exactly. I'm like, hey, make chicken salad out of chicken bleep, right? Love the one you're with. Hey, what are you going to do? Like piss and moan as, oh, we don't have the perfect quarterback here. Oh, he's a top 10 guy, sure, but he takes too much of the salary cap, blah, 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 blah. Like, what are you going to do? But is that what you do whenever you're facing adversity? You just bitch and moan about it. It's like, oh, well, this is why we can't win. This is why I can't do this. Blah, blah, blah. Please. It's just like the whole not having a relationship. I don't care about that. But having a professional relationship, that's what you need to happen. And then towards the end, when it was clear that the train was off the tracks and just bemoaning about it, like, who cares? It's like, talk about bad beats in poker. No one cares, bro. It's just unprofessional. It's disrespectful. And I understand we're trying to get a glimpse behind the curtain of that toxic work environment that's been going on. I mean, 4 years. You had 4 years to develop some sort of some semblance of a working relationship, and you didn't do it. And then you're blaming the team's shortcomings on Kirk Cousins. The fact that you only made the playoffs 1 year out of 4. The fact that you were never above 500 since 2019. Oh yeah, it's all Kirk. It's all Kirk. And what about Kirk last year? Kirk Cousins was far from the problem. He was not the problem last season. What about Kirk's 4 game-winning drives last year? Detroit, the first game. Carolina, Green Bay, Chicago. Would have been more in Cincinnati if Dalvin's fumble hadn't been a fumble. Arizona, if Greg Joseph made that kick. Kirk Cousins has another pelt on his wall. Sorry that Kirk Cousins couldn't stop the run against Baltimore. Your precious defense just gave it away now. Sorry that Kirk couldn't stop Sam Darnold for marching 96 yards and a 2-point conversion, which, by the way, Kirk still would have had the game-winning drive on that one. Yeah, sorry about that. Or sorry that Kirk Cousins couldn't get out there on defense and stop Jared Goff from marching 75 and a 2-point conversion to lose in Detroit, man. Like, this ain't Detroit, man. This ain't the Super Bowl either. Right? So, it's just more drama, man. And this really sucks because At the beginning of his tenure, I really liked and respected Mike Zimmer. He was a breath of fresh air, well, tobacco-strewn air that needed to be pumped into the Vikings. But eventually the message got stale. And I think just initially when Zimmer was calling out players, it was seen as, oh, he's just holding players accountable, but not from the point of view from the players. Eventually it was just him throwing dudes under the bus. And this whole Kirk Cousins drama is just another thing. Because even in the locker room, like some teammates may see Kirk Cousins as a whatever. He's a top 10 guy, but he takes up way too much of the salary cap, whatever. But we haven't heard one teammate come out and just say, hey, Kirk is a bad teammate. Kirk is a bad this. Kirk is a bad that. I think Kirk is what he is, right? And you can win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. You can. Absolutely. But everything needs to be near perfect around him. And again, that is not a slight. That is not a slight on Kirk Cousins, because you cannot say that about every quarterback in the league. Like, hey, if you had everything perfect around Jameis Winston, I don't think you can win a Super Bowl with him. Maybe that's a bad example, but whatever. It's just, towards the end, Zimmer crashed and burned this thing. He did. And he has no one else to blame from himself, except he never blamed anyone except everyone else. That didn't work out. I'm not an English major. But anyways, let us know your thoughts and our thoughts. The report that Zimmer openly complained about Kirk and Meeks. Oh, by the way, so, obviously Chad didn't name his source. We got a pretty good idea of who the source is. It's hilarious, man. But let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.